have you joined the Happily Ever After Club?
Happily Ever After Club?
हाँ, Happily Ever After Club. Membership is automatic once you buy your dream home from Amit Inamdar. He is both real estate and mortgage broker. One stop, no need to shop.
Oh, Amit Inamdar from Own Sweet Home.
Yes, that's Amit from OWN Own Sweet Home. Call him today, 510-364-6686. Again, 510-364-6686. Or visit ownsweethome.net. That is OWNOwnSweetHome.net. DRE number 0135552 and MLS 236574.
Hello, namaste and welcome Radio Zindagi listeners. I'm RJ Renuka. Happy Friday. Today we have another exciting conversation with Amit Inamdar. You are going to get the power pack 30 minutes of information on real estate escrow and what happens during the life of an escrow. So it's like life of an escrow. We always welcome you to call us at 510-364-6686 to ask a question on the radio. However, if you are unable to get in, you can always submit a question for a personal response. Just go to Amit's website, ownsweethome.net, and click on the radio show link to submit your question. Hey, and you can always find Amit Inamdar just by searching his name on Google. So hello Amit and welcome to Power Hour.
Hey, thank you Renuka. Hello friends, Own Sweet Home and welcome to my show, Power Hour with me, Amit Inamdar. The word escrow is unfamiliar to many. In every real estate transaction, escrow plays a critical role. When clients visit me, they want to know what escrow means. What does it do? What does one pay escrow fees for and what value do they add? Others who have gotten information off the internet wonder what are all the charges from the escrow companies, the courier fees, the escrow fees, the notary fees, the recording fees. Why should they pay? And then there are title company charges too. Things just add up to the frustration of both home buyers and sellers. So today I'm going to talk about why one needs an escrow and what value they add to the whole process for buyers, sellers, and everyone involved.
Everyone involved? Who are the parties involved in real estate transaction, Amit?
The real estate transaction, as you know, is very complicated. One would think it's just a buyer and a seller. Think little further and then there is the lender. However, think deeper. You will see there are many parties involved in the real estate transaction. You have the seller, then the seller's agent. You have the buyer and the buyer's agent. You have the brokerages of both buyer and seller's agents, meaning buyer's brokerage and seller's brokerage. You have buyer's lenders and you also have seller's lenders who need to be paid off when buyer buys the home. There may be multiple lenders on each side, like first and second lenders. You have loan brokers, you have lenders loan processors, you have brokers loan processors, lenders underwriters, dock drawers, loan funders. You have inspection companies, property, termite, roof, and maybe more depending on the property condition. You have geologists, natural hazard disclosure companies, home insurance companies, homeowner associations, home warranty companies, repair companies, and title officers and title reps. In a typical real estate transaction, Renuka, we communicate with 43 different people from 14 different industries to complete the 7 critical stages of the real estate transaction. And escrow officers manage all money and title matters from many of these people.
Oh boy, that is one complicated transaction, Amit. And not only you have to interact with each, you also need to interact with them in their language for the benefit of your client.
Yes, knowing the language of the trade is very important. Okay, for not only to understand impact of various findings, but also to negotiate effectively with the parties issues related to these findings. Also, there's always money involved when services are requested from various parties. It's very difficult for buyers, sellers, and agents to manage the flow of money from various parties. Escrow here acts as a central point of contact and makes sure every service when ordered gets paid. Escrow is a third neutral party in the transaction. Their fees may be paid by the buyer or the seller. Okay, escrow companies do not take sides. They are neutral third party. Their fees may, as I said, may be paid by negotiated between buyer and seller. That's what the fees get paid for the escrow. Their job is to execute unified instruction from the parties involved in the transaction. If the instructions conflict, they mediate and make sure everyone is on the same page.
So, can you clarify this, Amit? What do you mean by the unified instructions?
This situation comes up multiple times in the transaction. For example, seller may have paid for the staging services upfront. However, the staging services may still send an invoice to the escrow company, and escrow may not know whether that's been paid for or not, because maybe the communication got crossed, by the time the payment got made and other things. Also, the home may stay on the market longer and the invoice may get added additional money. When seller is on the other hand thinking they already paid for it upfront, now there is a conflict. So unified instructions basically mean the seller has to say the same thing the stager has to say, that we've been paid or we're not been paid. That's what a unified instruction is. Similar things may happen, for the buyer side. Like buyer may have paid for the inspections and the inspections company has no record of the same. Okay, many times seller pays the mortgage for the month, upfront, like on the first of the month or so. However, it does not get reflected in the lender system, and lender wants to pay off their existing balance in the escrow, and the seller may say, already paid on the first of the month, but on 5th of the month it may not show up in their system. So those will be the conflicting instructions, and then one has to make sure those get unified one way or the other, and escrow plays a critical role in that.
So what you are saying is everyone involved has the responsibility to make sure they pay for the services that were ordered, and the receiving company performs those services and acknowledges the payment, so there is no conflict in between.
And that's basically what unified instructions are.
Okay. So tell me one thing, Amit. Who selects the escrow company? Is it buyer or is it a seller?
Okay. The selection of a escrow holder is negotiable item between buyer and seller. Many times it is understood that the party who pays the fees selects the escrow provider. Escrow fees are about, say, $1,000 to $1,500 for a median priced home. They may be higher or lower depending on the property value. They manage the transaction among the multiple parties involved. Once the offer is accepted by the seller, the buyer's offer is accepted by the seller, the buyer is required to deposit earnest money deposit into the escrow. Even though it can be given to the agent or the seller directly, it is safer to have that money reside in the escrow. Many times buyer may not be able to physically deliver the money, and the courier service may be hired, and then that's how these additional charges pile up, when people look at escrow fees, the courier fees and all those things, because they are providing some level of comfort and providing some level of service by hiring other parties.
So wouldn't it be just easy to deal with the seller directly and, pay him the deposit? Like, hey, I'm buying your home, this is your deposit. Wouldn't seller prefer having that deposit in their hand rather than in the escrow?
Sure. Seller would love to keep buyer's deposit, and it's like, and their money. I mean, let me give you a scenario, okay? Let's say you're a buyer and there is an open house and you visit the open house. And there is someone attending the open house. And it's very natural for a new buyer to assume that the person holding the open house is the person selling the home. And let's say that person pulls the buyer aside, and tells him for whatever reason that he would, can have this property, and indicates that he should give him $20,000, and he will give him a receipt that home will not be sold to anybody else. And considering the bidding in the market and some kind of a favor that is being done to the buyer may choose to do so. Think it's a good deal that, they do not have to bid and they can have this home just by being nice to this person who is holding the open house.
Yeah, sure, sounds that way. So what can go wrong?
First of all, the buyer does not know if the person standing at the open house is the real seller. Okay, number one. Even if the person is a real seller, okay, and takes the 20,000 deposit and gives you a handwritten signed receipt, nothing is stopping the seller from disappearing. Maybe take a long overseas trip with the money that they just got, rent the property to someone else, and the buyer does not have much of a recourse. So buyer almost lost his good faith deposit just by not knowing if the person was the real seller. What kind of verification is needed? Do the person signing is the only person that has authority to sell? You have title to the property, you have the recorded owners of the property. Number of questions come up that can have buyers lose their money. That is where having this money in the escrow protects the buyer. Escrow has instructions to give money to the seller once the seller gives the grant deed to the property to the buyer's name. So escrow is kind of a holder of that money, and it says as long as the seller is ready to sign off the property in buyer's name, it's okay to give that money to the seller. So and that's what their job is.
So, Amit, in recent years, we have seen a lot of wire fraud issues and buyers and sellers losing their money. We keep on getting emails from escrow companies that, about the wire fraud.
New technology creates new problems, it solves problems and then it creates new problems, So the thing is, you always have to be in a flux of change. And knowing, someone is buying a home, buyer may receive an unsuspecting email. That's what typically happens. That looks like it came from an escrow company. Okay, for example, escrow company is XYZ.com, and it may say XYZinc.com, and you may still think it's the same company. So it's like
those emails, they look legitimate.
We all know phishing plus the website domain URLs can be made to look genuine. So unsuspecting buyer may deposit funds in the indicated account that is not the escrow account and lose their money to a con artist. What is important is to verify information and work diligently when it comes to money. And every buyer, seller who works with us, we give them clear instructions. We explain them various situations, what may come up. And once they know the possibilities, then they are more careful.
Of course, and anytime money is involved or anything they do, they consult us before taking that step. So listeners, you are listening to Power Hour with Amit Inamdar. If you have any questions regarding real estate loans or today's topic, life of an escrow, do give us a call. Number is 510-364-6686, 364-6686. The market has a very low inventory still and home prices are high. Demand is still strong with the recent drop in interest rates. Whether you are a buyer or a seller, do you know how you must prepare and evaluate your offers? When Amit works with buyers, he will pre-approve their loan in advance. This not only helps buyer, but also helps sellers. If you are planning to sell, all you need is one qualified buyer to buy your home. Amit has already pre-approved these buyers, so whether you want to sell in open market using Amit's proven marketing methods or want to do a silent market sale, you can call Amit directly at 510-364-6686. You can also visit Amit's website, ownsweethome.net, that is OWN, sweethome.net. And if you forget these numbers or the website, all you have to do is Google Amit Inamdar, real estate broker, and you will know ways to find Amit. So, today we are talking about life of an escrow. And Amit, you just finished talking about why it is important to have an escrow in each real estate transaction.
Yes, an escrow as a third neutral party, it's there to protect everyone's interest. And they make sure no one is overcharged and no one gets overpaid or underpaid. At the end of the transaction, they do a credit debit sheet, making both sides of the numbers match. And even though closing costs may be paid by one party and the other or shared between the parties, it is important to know how it affects each party that is involved and their bottom line. Typically, at the end of the transaction, we provide escrow a term sheet detailing out the terms of the home sale. We provide them with our instructions, as well as who has agreed to pay these particular costs that are involved. Our commission demands are also handled by the escrow, and the same thing basically happens from the seller side. So again, the unified instructions come into play.
So, buyer, seller, inspections, commissions are understandable activities for many homeowners and buyers also. What are the other activities the escrow gets involved in?
Okay, the long list of how complicated a real estate transaction may be. We kind of showed that at the beginning of the show, and there were a lot of other activities. And one of the other important activity I would like to point out is the title insurance. Typically the escrow companies in California are also the title insurance companies, and even though they are the same in this particular state, they perform both the duties of escrow and a title company. Escrow officer gets the policy issued by the title department for the buyer's review. These policies protect the property owners and buyers and the lenders against any title defects. We have seen stories where same property being sold to multiple parties and stuff, so any kind of situations like that, any recorded defects, lien defects, are basically handled by these title insurance policies. Since title insurance is handled by an insurance agent, it is best to talk to the title officer on the coverage and meaning of various terms. We'll be back after a short break.
Own sweet home, own sweet home. I dream of my own sweet home. Right here, right now, Amit Inamdar will show you how. Call Amit and you are set. Or just visit ownsweethome.net.
DRE license number 013555522 and NMLS number 236574.
Welcome back, friends. This is Amit Inamdar, and if you are in the market to sell, buy or finance your home, you will get unbiased advice that will save you money. And that's my promise to you. To get hold of me, just Google my name, Amit Inamdar, real estate broker, and you will know ways to find me. Having all your questions answered at one location and by one person means saving time, money, and having peace of mind that you are being cared for by someone like me who knows this business. Today we are talking about life of an escrow.
So, Amit, how long is the escrow process and who decides the time frame?
Escrow process may begin even before the buyer and seller agree on the terms of the sale and before the offer is accepted. Typically, when I represent the sellers, I open the pre-sale escrow to handle various activities such as ordering the preliminary title report, and that's important to order in advance to see what kind of ownership this particular title report is showing, and is it in the same understanding that the seller has, so basically there are no discrepancies in those. Pay for any home improvement services like our staging costs that are required to be paid upfront, and most of the time the seller prefers them to be paid through escrow because then everything appears on the same closing statement. Ordering the title report in advance gives my clients, sellers and also the prospective buyers, that there is no unexpected liens against the property. Their property taxes are paid on time and there are no unwanted notices of default foreclosure notices against the property. Many times, if seller has not paid for the improvements done on the house to contractors, there may be mechanics liens filed, and any kind of late pendants or pending lawsuits against the property that may affect the sale of the property. And all those things basically are identified in this pre-sale escrow. And once the seller get in contract, all these issues are typically resolved up front, and then typically we have a 30-day escrow period for completing this purchase escrow.
So home selling is not an easy process, Amit. It's just like not marketing and negotiating and it's a done deal. Mm-hmm. There are many other considerations too.
No, absolutely. And that's what due diligence is all about, The places where the home is located in the community is important. If the homeowner association may have liens against the property for not paying the association dues or being delinquent on them is important. Okay, there are easements recorded against the property. And going back to the previous question, the escrow can beyond the time when buyers and seller close the transaction. Because the sellers and buyers may have agreed that once the escrow closes, seller has the right to stay in the property for another month because seller hasn't found another property move to, and then that extra money may still stay in the escrow and maybe return to the any kind of rent back from the seller, and the deposits, they need to be settled also.
So listeners, you are listening to Power Hour with Amit Inamdar. If you have any questions regarding real estate, loans, or today's topic, life of an escrow, you can always call Amit Inamdar 510-364-6686, 364-6686, or you can visit ownsweethome.net, that is OWNsweethome.net. If you want to learn about current market and home buying, you can visit the First Time Home Buyer webinar, which is available on the website ownsweethome.net, that is OWNsweethome.net. If you are a first-time home buyer or just want to feel comfortable with the home buying process, do visit the website and listen to the recorded webinar. This webinar will not only give you the overview of the home buying process, it will also pre-qualify you, let you know more about neighborhood selections, school selections, and lot more. Link is located as an image on the main page slider. You cannot miss it. And hey, if you do not remember the website, just Google Amit Inamdar, real estate broker, and you will get to Amit's website. After you have viewed the webinar, all your questions may have been answered and you will have new questions. And this is when you can have one-on-one meeting with Amit for your pre-approval and neighborhood selection.
So in a typical escrow may request statement of information from the parties involved. And the reason for this statement of information, and it's a long statement, it will ask your addresses, where you have lived in the past, because they are very common names like John Smith or Harish Patel, and all those names basically are so common that they want to make sure is the same person who is buying it. So they will verify that information against other public records, and kind of make sure that the person who is selling or person who is buying is the same person.
So Amit, can you summarize the actions escrow company takes during this, say, 30-day escrow period?
Escrow gets opened either before or after the buyer and seller agree on the terms and price of the contract. Within first 3 days, buyer deposits the earnest money deposit in the escrow. Escrow provides the receipt of this transaction. Escrow contacts the title company and orders the preliminary title report. Escrow provides estimated closing costs to the buyer's lenders so lenders can prepare near accurate good faith estimates. They get the seller's authorization to order the payoff amounts for the seller's loans. They verify the identities of the persons involved. They communicate and help resolve any issues that are discovered during the transaction. They contact the buyer's lender to obtain buyer's loan documents, arrange for notary, arrange for recording services. After the lender funds the buyer's loan, they disburse all the money to the respective parties, like paying off seller's loans and other liens, paying agents' commissions, sending buyer any excess funds that they have deposited in the escrow, and recording the home in the buyer's name.
Yay! Celebration time.
Yes.
That is why in every transaction it is critical to have a escrow company. They perform critical role in the whole transaction and pull all involved parties together, all resources together, and help you close on the time. As Amit said earlier, whether you want to buy, sell or finance, you will get unbiased, comprehensive advice from Amit Inamdar, and that is his promise to you. So if you are in the market to buy, sell or finance, just give Amit a call at 510-364-6686. He will ask you many thought-provoking questions that will clarify your needs, wants and values. Once your values are clear, decisions are easy. Additionally, you can find an archive of Power Hour radio show on Amit's website, ownsweethome.net, that is OWNsweethome.net, under the video section.
Thank you, Renuka. Many times my clients receive the clarity in their decision after the initial consultation. Buyers may decide to buy immediately, wait or not even buy. Sellers may decide to become landlords, sell in this high-priced market, or continue to enjoy their home ownership. The borrowers may decide to save money by taking advantage of the low interest rates we are seeing in the past week or so. Yes, that means If you want to refinance your home, call me for no obligation initial consultation to see if refinancing can save you money in the long run, improve your cash flow, and may help pay off the home early.
Thank you, Amit, for the wonderful show. That was a great information on the escrow, life of an escrow. Also, the recent financial news on lower home financing rates are useful for our listeners. Listeners, do call Amit to save you money.
Thank you. Have a fabulous weekend. I'll see you next week.
Have you joined the Happily Ever After Club?
Happily Ever After Club?
हाँ, Happily Ever After Club. Membership is automatic once you buy your dream home from Amit Inamdar. He's both real estate and mortgage broker. One stop, no need to shop.
Oh, Amit Inamdar from Own Sweet Home.
Yes, that's Amit from OWN Own Sweet Home. Call him today, 510-364-6686. Again, 510-364-6686. Or visit ownsweethome.net. That is OWNOwnSweetHome.net.
DRE number 0135552 NMLS 236574.
Views, opinions, and statements